I'm Aaron Janik. I really appreciate the invitation for today. I just officially announced my candidacy for City Council in Ward 5 today. It was a decision I thought about long and hard, and what that would mean, the impacts on my young family and the small business I run. I have a school-age daughter and a soon-to-be school-age son, and a business that is sustainable but struggling, as a lot of small businesses in the city are. And what I decided is I think we need the perspective. City Council is a body that demands the perspective of Providence public school parents, as well as small business owners, and that's 12 employees or less, making sure that we can pay our bills and keep our staff employed from week to week. Small business usually encompasses a much larger definition, but I think this city, really, its foundation is those small businesses, the arts, and the food community, those businesses that struggle week to week. And I think that perspective is often absent from our city council. And so that's why I decided that I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring, and I believe I can bring honest, accessible, accountable leadership to Ward 5. I'm a lifelong Rhode Islander. I've lived in Providence for just shy of 20 years. I moved permanently to Elmhurst about 6 years ago to start a family. My wife and her family have been on the street we live on now for 35 years. And it was starting that family that sort of pointed me more towards civic involvement. I had been involved in a lot of politics and environmental advocacy in high school and college, and got away from that for a bit, trying to start a business and work on those other things. But thinking about the city and the future of my family in longer terms than myself really caused me to I'm the chair of the Rhode Island chapter of the Sierra Club, and I've been involved there for several years now. And seeing sort of how that access as being part of the largest environmental nonprofit in the country, this local chapter gave me immediate access on a lot of levels to city and state government conversations that a lot of people are absent from. It makes you realize whose voices are absent from those conversations, and I've tried to use my role with the Sierra Club to amplify the voices that have been absent, and in doing so, I've come up against a lot of roadblocks in trying to make sure that public participation and public involvement and the most impacted members of the community are a priority in policymaking decisions for the city. I don't believe our city council people are generally accessible or accountable to the members of the public in a way that they should be. I think the visioning of this city has been in the hands of a lot of lobbyists and several developers and their interests and their profits for far too long. I don't think any of these three questions can be simply answered with yes or no questions. I think the first thing we need to do is look at who are the most impacted people by those decisions and start sourcing the solutions from the grassroots up. But I think with the water supply, absolutely, we should not sell it, we should not privatize it, but I also think we need to realize that the city of Providence carries a huge burden in managing the water supply for 60% of the state, I believe. And in order for them to not be able to monetize it in any way and then allow whoever they've sold it to then potentially, we saw with Johnston and the power plant in Burrville, be able to potentially profit from that water is ludicrous for Providence to carry that burden. So I think there are other solutions that we need to think about with regards to that. I think the residents of Fox Point, the Jewelry District, and downtown have made their feelings about the tower very clear, but I also think we need to think, if that is not the right building for that parcel, we need to act fast. We need to come up with other solutions. The amount of jobs associated with a project such as that, the amount of union labor, and job training that would come into getting underemployed or day laborers into unions to work on projects such as that is an opportunity we can't. We need to start creating those opportunities, whether this is that project or not. I think that's for us all to decide, and it looks like most people say no, but and we absolutely have a major housing crisis. I guess I'll expand on that later.
Great, thank you.